All right, Shalom. I want to start off as always by giving all praises and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, B'cha HaKodash. Double honors unto the apostles, the elders, and the bishops of Great Millstone. I want to send much love unto the brothers out there doing this work in truth and sincerity. And also want to send peace and blessings unto the believers of the hopeful elect. And as you can see, the name of this Thursday Live is going to be, you still think the Bible is fake? And this is pretty much a question posed to you people of the world, all right, who have laughed, mocked, and scoffed the scriptures for years, for decades, right? And you made it your duty, okay, to disprove God. But here in these last days, we're starting to see a lot more people talk about the Bible, talk about prophecy, talk about the return of our Lord Yahweh Shai, whom they call Jesus and Christ. They talk about the war of Armageddon and, all the things of the scriptures, so to speak, right? And, I just find it so interesting, man, that, not everybody is a prophet. Everybody is a seer. Everybody is a pastor and no scripture, right? You people are a bunch of jokes, okay? You're a joke. You don't understand these scriptures. You don't know what really is going on in the earth, okay? You're playing games. Now, I'm not saying that you don't understand some things. I'm not saying you don't. But when it comes to the mysteries of the Most High, that's only given to the prophets. And it's funny that you Christians, right? You Western American Christians, you guys are praying that a war doesn't happen, in particular World War III. You're praying that don't happen, which is contrary to the very book that you claim that you believe in. Matter of fact, I was talking to a guy today at work about that, right? I said, Christians, man, they kind of, shock me sometimes that they say that they don't want no war to happen, no famine, no bad things, but they want Jesus to come back. That's a contradiction. If you want the Lord to come back, then things have to get bad. War has to take place. That's Bible prophecy. But see, Christians don't understand the Bible, okay? They're totally lost. Totally lost, right? Don't know what's really going on. Only the prophets. Only the Israelites, okay? And look, not even all the Israelites know what's going on. A lot of Israelites are lost, okay? But the Lord has his elect, and they understand. But this Bible, man, okay, that has been scoffed at for decades, centuries, has withstood the test of time. It's still the bestseller and is more relevant than any book, any doctrine, anything ever, okay? The Most High words stands alone, stands supreme. You can't compare nothing to it. Nothing, right? But what we're seeing here in these last days, man, is the manifestation of the word of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. It's more clear than it's ever been. More clear than it's ever been, man. You can hear the leaves of the scriptures shaking, howling, right? This Bible is crying out through the prophets. And the world is trying to take heed what's going on, but they really don't hear us, okay? Because if these people understood the scriptures, right, if they really knew what was going on, they'll be bugging because they'll know that the end is coming. They would know that we are the Israelites. They were going to take them into captivity and so on and so forth. That's the truth, man. But they don't get it, okay? And that's okay because this truth isn't for everybody. The Bible, the scrolls, the scriptures is only for the prophets. That's who the Most High made it for, okay? The prophets, man. The elites, that's who deal with the scriptures. The Most High deal with, he let the elites deal with the scriptures, man, of Jake, and break these prophecies down. All right? And can nobody break down these prophecies like the Israelites, okay? In particular, starting with the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. These are facts, right? And the men who follow the like doctrine. You thought the Bible was fake. You thought, you could play with God and, you can just do, whatever. But now you're scared. The world is scared. Everybody's shaking and afraid. What's up? I thought God wasn't real, man. Why are you afraid? You shouldn't be afraid. Remember, God not real. Remember the Bible was fake. Come on, man. Not everybody's so religious and posting scriptures and prayers and Twitter this and God that, hashtag God, right? Boy, y'all in for a rude awakening. You're in for a very rude awakening. Okay. I'm gonna start this lesson off with the video I did early in the week. In one of my I think it was my late night getting it video, I think. But I'm gonna replay this video here of Catherine Fitz being interviewed by Tucker Carlson here. And I'm dealing with the portion of the control grid. Okay. And I also want to get to the portion of how biometrics will be used to control you. Because the MOTB, brothers and sisters, all right, the mark of the beast, has to be implemented before the war of Armageddon take place. I know it may seem like World War III and the missiles going to get shut out tomorrow if you're paying attention to the media, right? But this is where understanding scripture, prophecy, brothers, comes in there, and it brings you the comfort that, okay, cool, we see what's going on between America and Iran, right? And the small hats. That's beautiful to see. But we understand that the MOTB has to come. So what is happening? Why is America attacking Iran, right? What are they planning for? Why are they doing this? Why isn't Iran allies helping them out, right? Russia and China. What's going on? What's the move? Are they doing this, causing this chaos to speed up and economic collapse? Why are they doing this? Because I have a video here in which the elder brother Ariella from Dallas and the elder brother from London, Required Chrome, went into the video, all right, and you had the Asian guy speak about the possibilities of what could happen if Iran closed down the Strait of Hormuz. We're talking global hell, chaos. We're talking about Babylon crumbling economically, okay? famine, riots, okay? Hyperinflation, hyperinflation. This is serious. This is very, very serious, okay? So I'm going to get into this control grid portion here. Let her say her piece. Grab a scripture here, and then I'll move on, all right? Trying to make this too much longer, but here we go.
For people who haven't seen your previous talk, explain what the control grid is, what it looks like, and what it means.
So the control grid is a process or an infrastructure that allows digital technology to be used to assert phenomenal surveillance and control of people.
Yeah.
And at the very heart of it is what I call programmable money. So it's money that is no longer just a currency. It's money that comes with a set of rules that can be surveilled and enforced. So imagine back.
The very heart of it is buying and selling, in so many words. That's the heart of this digital system. It's buying and selling with this programmable money, because the money gonna be changed, okay? There won't be any cash being used amongst the people. It's all gonna be digital currency, right? And it's gonna be in the form of the MOTB. The heart of it will be the mark of the beast. That's going to pretty much legalize you in the system, right? Makes you active, merge you in the system. The MOTB, as she's going into. That's the heart of it, brothers and sisters. Don't get caught up in the stuff you're seeing on YouTube, man. All right? The war of Armageddon ain't happening just yet. It's coming. But the mark of the beast has to be established. And this is what she's talking about. Okay?
Yeah.
And at the very heart of it is what I call programmable money. So it's money that is no longer just a currency. It's money that comes with a set of rules that can be surveilled and enforced. So imagine back in the pandemic, if your money, if I said, okay, you've got to lock down and your money won't work if you leave your house. You can't buy gas in your car because your money is programmed with AI and software to enforce a whole set of centralized rules. And programmable money allows the bankers who've been running monetary policy to now control fiscal policy and essentially replace legislatures and executive branch by making and enforcing the rules through the money. Now that requires a large infrastructure of surveillance. So you need digital IDs, and then you need the hardware locally and globally to do the surveillance and implementation. So for example, if you look at the local hardware, and now people are seeing it, now that it's material, they're beginning to see it snap into place. So I don't know if you know flock cameras, but there are many communities across the United States that are entering into contracts paid by the taxpayers to put up cameras all around their neighborhood that track license plates and keep that data and share it with a variety of people. Or you have the FCC is trying to overrule local controls on cell towers, so they can literally put cell towers every 400 to 700 feet so that they can have the kind of invasive surveillance you need. Or you have satellites now that can literally beam in Wi-Fi so that whether you have Wi-Fi in your home or not, they can start to track you. And all those systems put you in what I call the panopticon. So we saw in the Middle East with the first war with Iran, we saw 11 leaders out of 12 sort of top leaders in science and government assassinated because they're literally tracking everyone, and they can identify them and track them. And then you have invisible weaponry that can then take them out, or, can identify missiles.
Right. And the small hats have that technology because of Palantir. Okay. Palantir can track you anywhere, from everywhere. They can track and trace you. All right. This is how the small hats are knocking off these top leaders and generals over there in the Middle East. You got to ask yourself, how is that they're always finding them and know exactly where to shoot their missiles? What kind of intel do they have? What kind of weaponry do they have, man? To where you can spot somebody that's beneath the earth in bunkers and, underground sewage and all these things, and know exactly where to hit them at. Because of Palantir. All right. They have the AI technology, man, can track and trace you from anywhere. So this MOTB system gonna be a very, very tight knit, okay, mass surveillance track and trace system, bro. Like you won't be able to do nothing without them knowing. This is what she's basically saying. They can find you from anywhere, bro. All right, from anywhere. Here we go.
Missile strikes. So
let me ask you, so you're talking about the 12-day war against Iran in June of 2025.
correct.
We were led to believe, just as newspaper readers or news consumers, that those 11 Iranian officials were targeted with human intelligence. You know, that Israel had spies inside of Iran, but you're saying that was done digitally.
That's probably, I would assume that that's probably true, because you always want to get human confirmation of what the systems are telling you. It's always better if you have both. But we are now moving into building out the kind of surveillance systems that can literally track, identify, and integrate with not only our existing weaponry, but ultimately autonomous weaponry. So anyway, so let me step back. You've got three parts to the control grid. One is the local hardware and infrastructure, and that includes the data centers. Because if you...
the data centers. Did a video on that, okay, a couple weeks ago. But these massive data centers are being built here in Babylon the Great. They're being built by people in neighborhoods, man. I showed the clips. I heard Anthropic, the guy from Anthropic, he said they're going to build a data center out in Mississippi. I'm like, hey, don't go to Mississippi with that BS, boy. Stay where y'all at. But in Mississippi, it's a lot of land, okay, that they can buy up and build massive data centers, bro. That's the groundwork for the mark of the beast system, man. Now, also these data centers are used for what? For Google and ChatGPT and Grok, right, to communicate with the AI. Okay, but it's for other things too. And it'll be mainly for the MOTB. All right. That's a part of it. The massive data centers, bro. Right here in Texas. A couple hours from me. Is one being built. Okay. That's being built by OpenAI. A massive, massive data center, bro. Which is known as Stargate. They're calling it, right? You remember, when Trump got sworn into office, they spoke about Stargate. Well, they need them massive data centers to get Stargate up and running. A $500 billion plan. So everything is falling into line, man. The world is, focusing on BS and playing games. These devils behind the scene are active and moving forward with their plans, which is the plans of the Most High, by the way, to bring forth the MOTB. So here we go.
Data? I thought those were for AI.
They are. Because if you look at what it takes to apply the equivalent of a social credit system to people's money, so the social credit system I apply to you is different than the one I apply to me. And if you look at the data I need to track you and test whether or not you're following the rules I've given you and enforce.
Whoa.
What's that?
I just built a budgeting app in Base 44.
Guys, Nina just built
Those rules, it's an explosive amount of data, particularly because you're looking not just at financial control, but spatial control. So what is AI good at, Tucker? AI is
spatial control, movement control.
Yeah, so turn off the car. So Congressman Massey is trying to kill the kill switch in your car. That's because spatial control means I can turn off your car, or I can set it so your money won't work more than a mile from your home or a 15-minute city. So you're not allowed to leave your 15-minute city, and your transportation and your money won't work outside of that area.
Now, can you imagine a world like that? A society like that? To where if you go outside of a certain radius, your money will not work. You want to talk about control? That's total control. If you leave outside this 15-minute radius, Your money won't work at no store. It only can work within the stores that's 15 minutes radius, right? This is the kind of system that these devils are going to implement. It's going to take everybody by surprise. Those who don't know what's going on, that is. But we know what these devils are going to do. Here we go.
So let me step back. So what is AI good at? AI is very good at tracking things that can be expressed mathematically. And financial transactions and spatial movement can be expressed mathematically. And so what the AI centers are for primarily is to build that digital control grid and to manage that data. So, and now it can be used for many other purposes too. So it's not just going to be used for control. But to me, that's the primary purpose. And that, if you look at the cameras, if you look at the cell towers, if you look at the satellites, and then the AI, the data centers, those are all component pieces of the local hardware. So there are three sort of pillars that I track. One is the programmable money, and that's what we at Solari are trying to stop. The second is the digital ID, because you need digital ID systems that are interoperable globally, and then the local hardware. And those are sort of the three pillars. And what's interesting is there's phenomenal development of all three. We have a commentary at Solari where we track, it's called the Fast Approaching Digital Control Grid. And every week we update all the things that are being done to build those three pillars and have them integrate with each other. And ever since the inauguration, it's been moving very, very quickly. Now, it's both sides of the uniparty. They come at it in different ways and they do different things. But this is, ultimately what this is doing is this is going to a point where the central bankers, whether they do it with a central bank digital currency or private stable coins and asset tokens, are setting the world up so that they can control your financial transactions literally in real time with the equivalent of a social credit system.
That's the mark of the beast, ladies and gentlemen. That's the mark of the beast, ladies and gentlemen. She's gonna say, look, I'm gonna play it again. What are the bankers trying to do? The elites trying to do? Watch this.
Inauguration, it's been moving very, very quickly. Now, it's both sides of the uniparty. They come at it in different ways and they do different things. But this is, ultimately what this is doing is this is going to a point where the central bankers, whether they do it with a central bank digital currency or private stable coins and asset tokens, are setting the world up so that they can control your financial transactions literally in real time with the equivalent of a social credit system.
Revelation 13. Here we go. Revelation 13 and 16, GNT Bible. The beast forced all the people, small and great, rich and poor, slave and free, to have a mark placed on their right hands or on their foreheads. No one could buy or sell without this mark, that is, the beast's name or the number that stands for the name. So what she just told you was that these elites are trying to establish the MOTB system, okay? Which leads me to my next video, right? This is from Professor Jane, okay? And credit the elder brother in Dallas, Ariala, and the elder brother from London, Required Quam, for going into this on their live show, the World War III Algo, okay? But I wanted to highlight a few points here as well, because everything that she just went into, all right, that can be set up through this war, okay? And as you see, the name of his video is what? How Iran can cripple the West in one move. And if the West is crippled, meaning America, Babylon the Great, if Babylon the Great is crippled, guess what? The world gonna be crippled. The whole world gonna be crippled, all right? And this current financial system that we know is gonna collapse, which will be great for the elites to bring in that new MOTB system, that new control grid, all right? This situation with Iran could very well lead to that, in which he's going to go into some talking points concerning this matter. So here we go.
How this war develops just based on geography, okay? So this is a map. And this map, even if you don't really know the war, even if you don't know the participants, even if you don't know the weaponry, This map will tell you exactly how this war will progress. All right, so some certain things to keep in mind about this map. This is what we call this area, okay, really small, it's 33 kilometers wide, okay? People can swim across it. It's really, really narrow, okay? This small area, guys, it's called the Strait of Hormuz, all right? And it's important because it's really the center of the world. This one area is the nexus, the pivot of the world. Let me explain why. First of all, from the GCC, you have 20% of all the world's oil flowing through this narrow strait. Where does it go, guys? It goes to Asia, India, Pakistan, South Korea, China, Japan. India depends on 60% of its oil from this area. China depends on 40%. Japan, 75%. Prime Minister Takaichi of Japan has said that.
So China, according to what he's saying, right, India 60% of their oil, China 40%. Can you imagine that being cut off to those economies? 60% from India, 40% from China. Now, Babylon just seized Venezuela, right? So China ain't getting no more oil from Venezuela. Most of their oil comes from Iran. See what America is doing? They're trying to cripple their enemies, their adversaries, man. China. And do other things. But if you're paying attention to what they're doing, that's clear as day. They're trying to slow down China, man. Which China ain't coming to rule a damn thing. They gonna be the next world superpowers. Okay. But Esau is trying to cripple them too. But Esau is crippling himself. But he don't care. But it is part of the plan. It's a part of the plan. Everything that they're doing, brothers and sisters, is leading to the MOTB and then ultimately to the War of Armageddon. But if they keep this up, all right, they could very well cripple the West. And if the West is crippled, guess what? The whole world gonna be crippled. These are facts. Here we go.
Listen, if the Strait of Hormuz closes, we'll run out of oil in about 8-9 months. The entire Japanese economy would collapse in 8-9 months if the Strait of Hormuz were to close. And guess what? The Iranians have closed the Strait of Hormuz. Okay? So we can expect that the entire global economy will suffer greatly over the next few months. All right? So that's point number one. Point number two is, okay.
The entire global economy is going to suffer, expected, in the next couple of months if the Strait of Hormuz is closed. We're talking inflation, right? Possibly hyperinflation. Gas going up, groceries going up, everything going up. This is no joke. This little life that we are prone to here in Babylon the Great, right? Having these devices of technology and having this and having that, that could very well stop within months. That could stop. So this is serious, bro. This is so serious. But hey, it's the Lord's doing. This MOTB has to be introduced some way, somehow. Something got to take place. Some event has to take place for the MOTB to come. This could lead to that. I'm not saying that this is the actual event, but this could lead to that. 2 Ezra 15 and 16. Okay? As life gets harder, people are going to get desperate, man. and start attacking one another, as it says in 2 Ezra 15. So this is so serious, okay? Here we go.
Okay, so the GCC sends oil across the Strait of Hormuz, and what do they get back in return? Food, guys. All right, so people don't appreciate the GCC, but it is really the linchpin of the American empire. Because what is the American empire? The American empire is the petrodollar. All right? The idea of the petrodollar is this. The US dollar is worth nothing. It's only valuable when people want it. But the GCC says that if you want oil from us, you have to pay us in US dollars. Okay? Then that is the basis of the value of the US dollar. So, if the GCC collapses, the American economy and the American empire both collapse at the same time. The problem, though, is the GCC is an artificial construct of empire. It does not exist naturally. Why? Because there's no food, there's no oil, no water. Okay, guys? No food, no water. So these cities are able to grow in the millions because of all these petrodollars flowing in. If you close off the Strait of Hormuz, there's no food coming in, right? They're all going to starve. How much food does the GCC get?
A famine. Okay? A famine. Now I know it's hard to imagine a famine being here in America. Most Americans are surrounded by food. We're surrounded by food. Grocery stores, corner stores, fast food, whatever. 24/7. So it's kind of hard over here in America to picture a famine, right? Even the homeless, have cell phones here and, they can go get meals. They're just homeless, okay? But they still can go eat at McDonald's or Wendy's, wherever, for cheap. For a couple of dollars, they can get, get some meals, whatever, right? That could very well come to an end. And we're going to see 2 Ezra 15, 2 Ezra 16 manifest exactly how it's written. All right? Exactly how it's written. It's going to be hell in these streets, bro. Here we go.
From overseas, 80%. 80% of all the food it consumes comes from overseas, that it imports. It doesn't grow by itself, it imports. All right? So the Strait of Hormuz is really key. And again, the Iranians will close it in order to strangle the global economy and therefore bankrupt the American empire. All right? Second thing you will notice is these mountains. These mountains is what we call Iran. All right, this is Iran.
Right, and that's the part that I wanted, to highlight is that if things do continue how they are, Babylon economically can go belly up, and this current system that we have can fall, and it will fall, and it's going to be bad on the people, right? We're talking Jacob's trouble, full-fledged. 2 Ezra 15, bro, this is no joke. 2 Ezra 15. Oh, I'm sorry. Second Ezra 15:14, GNT Bible. The world and the people in it are doomed. The war that will bring their destruction is very near. Ultimately, their war is what? The War of Armageddon, World War III, right? Which people is talking about, okay? And some of them expecting World War III to happen, within a couple of days. That ain't gonna happen, man, right? Not to that level of what they're saying. No, sir. The MOTB still got to come. It says nations will arm themselves and fight against other nations. there will be great political turmoil. That's happening right now, especially here in Babylon the Great, but around the world, with one group trying to overpower the other and gain control while ignoring the legitimate government. It's going to get to that point. People are going to take power into their own hands, right? Why is that? Because it's going to be bad in Babylon the Great, and people are going to form clans and groups, right? It's going to be crazy, man. It says there will no longer be free access to the cities. Why is that? What is going to take place to where all these cities won't be free and accessible? What's going to hinder that, right? What's going to cause checkpoints and verifications just to enter into a city? Someone had to go bad. They're going to shut down these cities, right? Secure them. You can't come in, you can't go out unless this, unless that, right? But this is what Ezra is saying in the vision. He's saying people can't get into the cities, bro. And if you can't get no free access to the cities, well, you don't better leave neither, right? It says, because the struggle for power will bring destruction, terror, and total confusion wherever people live. Driven by famine and terrible suffering, people will assault their neighbors and mercilessly plunder their possessions. So driven by famine and terrible suffering, people catching hell, man. People catching real hell, talking pure hell. They're hungry, or I should say hangry, right? They're hungry and angry. Hangry, as they say. They're frustrated. No food for their children. No medicine. These so-called civilized people in this society are going to lose it. They're already crazy as hell. You see how they behave over soap and towels and Stanley cups. They maul each other, beat each other, fights. Over that kind of stuff, imagine where ain't no food. And it's terrible suffering, okay? We're not used to that kind of lifestyle over here. Now, Jake is poor, okay? Jake is poor. So that terrible suffering will affect these heathens, in particular Esau, more than Jake. Jake already catching hell. Okay, now the famine part, yes, the famine part gonna mess with everybody. You know, shit. Ain't no food. But for the most part, Jake already catching hell. Jake already suffering. Shit. It's gonna, be Jacob's trouble, right? But these heathens gonna get it. Because they living it up here in Babylon the Great. They got it made. So they're going to lose. And they're going to assault each other, man. And this situation could very well lead to that. So that's the point I want to know on that, which lead me to my next video. Okay? I'm sure you brothers and sisters may have seen this video here by now. Okay, this been going around on TikTok and Instagram. Now it's here on YouTube. Put up by the Elder Yashwamba from Dallas. Okay. Listen to this woman's testimony about is love dying. Okay.
I was just sitting here thinking about how I went to singles night at church and it was hundreds. I mean, at least 1,000. First, I thought it was 500, but the pastor said it was 1,000 singles in attendance. Like, are we all living the same life at this point? Because I've never been in a room with that many single people, or even thought that it was even, I thought I was like the only one left. I mean, beautiful women. all types, shapes, and sizes. Literally African American women. Like a room full of singles. And I'm like, this has to be an experiment. Like, this has to be like assimilation. Is that the word I want to use? I think so. Like, I'm confused and I'm like low key, like nervous, like for us. We're shit for myself, fuck y'all. Because where are the men? Where are the men? Then again, don't, never mind. Don't.
All right. So, Eve just gave a testimony, right? Singles event at the church, which is, hey, you at the church house looking for love, right? I thought you were supposed to go to church and learn about the Lord, right? You going to church looking for love. A singles event at the church house. But anyway, she spoke about all the women she saw there, beautiful women, whatever. Single women, right? Bunch of them, hundreds of them. Ain't got no man. What you think gonna happen when second to 15 and 16 kick off, right? Take a wild guess. Take a wild guess of what's gonna take place when all hell break loose and all these single women are out here vulnerable, okay? They're gonna be picked off by these men. Some of them will be saved for the elect's sake, right? But most will be picked off by these men. Most men are sexually suppressed, sexually frustrated. And this perverted society, man, this over-sexualized society. Women tease men 24/7. You're on the internet in panties and bras, every damn video. You're twerking, you're doing all these things, teasing men, right? See, right now they're playing for OnlyFans to see you, okay? They're paying for the Snapchat premiums to see you, get videos and, whatever, freak off on the video. When all hell break loose, they go into the streets. And they want to fulfill some of their sexual desires that they have, right? These perverted men out here. They want to fulfill some of those perverted desires they got. And all you single women out there, you independent, strong women, right? Successful, educated, glowing, cocoa butter women will be ripe for the taking. Ripe for the taking. Ain't nobody coming to save you. Okay? Nobody. Your brother in jail, he can't save you. Right? This is going to be crazy. Now, also, you can think about Isaiah 4:1. 7 women taking hold on one man. You think they're going to take place? Hell yeah, going to take place. And these women going to fall in line quickly, easily. They will all fall in line. All it takes is for hell to break loose. For this so-called society that we got, the comforts of this society, the police and all these things, wait till that collapses. And it's truly dark in these streets, right? Then Yahweh shall say the love of many shall wax cold. When the lights go off, you women, okay, you independent black mother queen goddess, hotep, ma'at, right? Earthy black girl. You wait You wait, you just wait. The Most High got judgment prepared. He got judgment prepared, man, and it's going to be nasty, okay? There is no respect of person with the Most High. The Most High don't give a damn that you're a woman, okay? If you're wicked, you're getting up out of here. And most of you women are wicked. Very vile, very low, okay? Very wicked, twisted. You go above and beyond. Nobody is more sneakier than a woman, man. Two-faced than a woman. Snake than a woman. The Most High got your tab. The Most High got the receipts, okay? And he gonna clock your T, as you say, right? The Most High gonna clock your T. And you get up out of here, man. Oh, man. That's gonna be a day, right? To see these educated, so-called educated, money-getting, Christian, powerful women who will be slaughtered in the streets. No pity showed. Twerking won't help. These men gonna take full advantage of you, okay? Men will take full advantage of women when all hell break loose. That has always happened in every time in history. Every time. When a nation falls to another nation, the women get taken quickly. Especially if they look good, they get taken quickly. What you think gonna happen when Yahweh Shai come back and we take these heathens down? Their fine women gonna be taken quickly. The version that is. Okay, we're gonna get them. But the point being is that it's gonna get real out here, man. It's gonna get real. It says, driven by famine, 2 Ezra 15:19, driven by famine and terrible suffering, people will assault their neighbors, right? All kinds of assaults, sexual assaults, this kind of assault, right? See, right now, you can call the police. If your neighbor assaults you, you can call the police. Hey, this nigga crazy, man. He, broke my house, Police come and try to assess the situation. Not in that day. You can't call the police in that day, boy. You have to defend yourself. A woman, you're going to get taken. Best hope you look good. They'll probably be the only way that you survive if you look good. A man might spare you because he want to keep you for sexual purposes. Okay? But if you're ugly, you might not have a chance. You might not have a chance. To throw you to the wolves. Abuse you and throw you to the wolves. Okay? Now, to my next video, I'm sure you brothers and sisters have seen this one too. Okay? This woman right here. Here on the elders page. Right? But it says, if my man can't keep can't keep you alive, keep me alive in apocalypse, as she's saying here. But I'll play the video because apocalyptic situations are coming. But here we go.
If a man can't keep me alive in a post-apocalyptic situation, I don't want him. How are you even attracted to somebody who would just get pillaged as soon as the government fails to enforce the laws? You don't really love him because you can't. Because what you really love is the social contract that we all have right now that allows him to stay alive. As soon as the world fell, you wouldn't be able to love him because you guys would have been pillaged and you would have to choose a stronger man. I would also go as far to say is as a man, you can't fight can't shoot, you can't grow food, you can't fish, and you can't figure out how to get us any of those resources, what are we doing here? If none of those needs are met, then I might as well just go be with another woman, because at least I'll have emotional security and stability while I'm fighting for my life with the lack of provision and stability.
All praise to Yah.
Yeah. So a woman like that will be taken, okay, by a man. And she won't have a choice to say, I don't want to be with you no more. A man can simply just overpower her and say, shut up. Or get beat up. Okay? But I get her point. You know, she want to be with a man who can't take care of her, you know, when all hell break loose. You won't have a choice. Okay, ladies? You won't have a choice. You better hope you'll be elect. That's what you better hope. Because you won't have a choice, boy. When men get you, okay, when they get their hands on you, that's it for you. You will be taken advantage of on all levels. And you're going to have to sit there and take it from multiple men, probably. You're going to scream, yeah, whatever. Nobody come and save you, man. If you ain't of the elect, ain't nobody coming to save you. That pride, that arrogance, you wicked women out there, the Most High got something in store. Okay? He got something in store, man. You better repent and humble your soul. But then again, you don't have to repent. Keep doing what you're doing. And you'll find out that the living God, Yahweh, is very real. And we're all going to find out, even more evident in these last days, that the Most High God, Yahweh, is very real, very active, very present. Yahweh Shai, the angels, very real, very present, very, very, very active, right? These scriptures are going to play out, man. These prophecies are going to manifest more and more. And when the hell kicks in, right, this economy collapses, thing goes left, you're going to find out very soon that the Most High is true. But for a lot of people, it's going to be too late. Like it says in Proverbs chapter 1, it's going to be too late. You didn't take heed to the counsel. You mocked, you laughed, you scoffed. You thought this was a joke. You made parody videos and TikToks thinking this was a joke. Not knowing that you laughed and mocked the Most High. You scoffed at the Most High, man. And so now, you're left on your own. And 2 Corinthians 15 will be your reality. Okay? You're going to be assaulted and mercilessly plundered for what you have. Ain't nobody going to care in that day. The love of many shall wax cold. You will not be spared. And now you online asking, where are all the men? The Most High setting this thing up, man. But I pray it was edifying, bro. I'm good about it here for time's sake. Shalom. Keep on fighting, keep on pushing, man.